Today, we're going to dive into a pretty amazing solution for one of modern farming's biggest headaches, especially for folks in places like Southeast Asia. We're talking about how to protect our food by making the plants themselves, well, tougher. Let's get into it.
Farming has always, and I mean always, been a dance with nature. It's this delicate balance of sun, rain, and soil, a real struggle that farmers know better than anyone. It's all about working with the elements to get food from the field onto our plates.
But here's the thing. That age-old balance, it's getting thrown way off. With climate change, we're seeing way more intense droughts and just devastating floods. So the big question is, how can crops possibly survive, let alone thrive, when the weather gets this wild and unpredictable?
So in this explainer, we're going to start with the huge climate challenge our crops are up against. Then we'll look at a fascinating solution that actually comes from the sea. After that, we'll break down the science of how it makes plants stronger, see how it's used in the real world, and finally, talk about what this all means for the future of farming.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about that disrupted balance. For so many farmers, particularly in these crucial farming hubs in Southeast Asia, the weather isn't a reliable partner anymore. Honestly, it's become a major threat.
And the stakes here are incredibly high. When a crop fails because of a sudden drought or a flash flood, it's not just a plant that dies. That's a farmer's income for the entire year, gone. It puts a huge strain on local food supplies. And hey, when that happens on a big enough scale, it ends up affecting every single one of us.
But what if the answer to this massive problem on land was actually hiding in the ocean? Let's turn to a really cool innovation that does exactly that.
We're talking about a special kind of seaweed liquid fertilizer. It's made using something called DF process technology. Basically, that's just a fancy way of saying they use a high-tech method to break down the seaweed, which makes all its nutrients super concentrated and way easier for a plant to soak up. So this isn't just seaweed in a bottle, It's a formula specifically engineered to make crops tougher against stress.
And this image really captures the whole idea, right? Taking the incredible, resilient power of the ocean and bottling it up to protect these fragile crops on land. It's a really powerful concept.
So, how in the world does a liquid from the sea make a plant on land stronger? Let's dig into the science here, because it's pretty neat. It really all comes down to what's inside. It's this powerful mix of natural seaweed extracts plus some essential micronutrients, and it's all put together in a way that the plant can absorb it super fast. That means the plant gets all the good stuff quickly and efficiently, right when it needs it.
So the star of the show is, of course, the seaweed extract. That's then combined with phosphorus and potassium, two of the big essential nutrients for growth. And on top of that, it's boosted with boron and zinc, which are crucial little micronutrients for a plant's overall health.
The easiest way to think about it is like this. The nutrients, the phosphorus, potassium, boron, and zinc, they're like a power-packed nutritional supplement, giving the plant energy. Meanwhile, the seaweed extract acts like a protective shield, helping the plant's own defense systems kick into high gear whenever it faces stress, like way too much or way too little water.
And all of this leads to three huge benefits. First, it seriously boosts the plant's resistance to extreme weather. Second, it helps regulate its growth, meaning more seedlings survive and they get better at absorbing other nutrients. And third, all of that leads to what every farmer wants: a better, bigger harvest.
Okay, that all sounds fantastic in a lab, but how does it actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at how this stuff gets applied out in the field.
The whole journey for a product like this starts in very controlled places, like labs or modern hydroponic setups. This is where the formula gets tested and fine-tuned, and its effects are measured with total precision. That way, you know it works before it ever gets to a massive farm.
Now, one of its biggest selling points is just how flexible it is. Farmers aren't stuck with just one way to use it. They can spray it right onto the leaves, they can feed it to the roots through drip irrigation, or they can even just mix it in with regular watering. And this is where modern tech just takes it to a whole new level. Look at this. Across these massive rice paddies in Southeast Asia, you have drones applying the fertilizer with incredible precision. This makes sure every single plant gets the protection it needs super efficiently. So pulling it all together, what does this really mean for the future? We're not just talking about a new product here. This is about a whole new way of thinking about farming as our climate keeps changing. And the results, well, they pretty much speak for themselves. You see clear, measurable improvements across all the important areas. Stronger resistance to stress, a much higher survival rate for the baby plants, and, the bottom line, a bigger and more reliable yield for the farmer.
And that's really the main takeaway. This stuff is more than just plant food. It's about giving the plant the tools it needs to defend itself. It's a shift from just thinking about nutrition to actually building resilience.
The promise of this technology is actually summed up perfectly right here. It regulates, it enhances, and it improves. It's a three-pronged attack on the problems facing modern agriculture, and it all starts from the ground up. It really leaves us with one last huge question to think about. As we face all these growing challenges on land, could the incredible untapped secrets of our oceans actually hold the key to a safer, more stable future for our food? It's definitely some food for thought.